Hey guys, welcome to another Patreon exclusive episode of The Litter Box. As always, I'm Bryan, and this is late. This is a super late episode, and I do want to sort of not just apologize and thank you for your patience, but also explain a little bit. Last night I was trying to get the wrap up done, and I was sort of editing last minute and rendering last minute and uploading last minute. And it just everything hit me like a ton of bricks. I've been just running myself ragged, sort of burning the candle at both ends, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Like it's so hard for me to go to bed most nights because there's always so much to do. There's always videos to make. There's always things to do, and you know, even if there's nothing that needs to get done right away, there's stuff that needs to get done in preparation for something that's going to need to get done. It is never ending around here. It is literally a 24/7 job, and I don't even have 24/7 because I do have an actual job and I need to sleep. So around like 9:30, I was like, I just need to go to bed. I just need to lay down and go to bed. I'm just like, I think people use the word exhausted pretty liberally. I have to say I was literally exhausted. I had nothing left, and I laid down, and by like 10:30, I was out. I was totally out. I woke up around like 4:30 in the morning. I was probably awake for an hour and a half, 2 hours most. And I think I answered some comments on the wrap up. I fixed. There's like a link missing to the petition for Subnautica, so I fixed that. And then I laid back down, put Netflix on, and went back to bed. And I really didn't get out of bed until like 1 in the afternoon. Off the top of my head, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. I mean, we're talking like 16 hours of sleep. I guess I really needed it. So I need to remind myself every so often that just needs to happen. That sometimes it doesn't matter if I need to upload MP3s. It doesn't matter if something's not going to get done on time, because sometimes I just need to recharge the battery. I don't want this to sound the wrong way, because you guys, if you don't know this, then I need to tell you, I absolutely love what we're doing here. I've definitely I've taken on a little bit more than I should with the week's worth of shows. The schedule that we're currently running is out of control, and it takes every moment that I have to get it done properly. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist too, so that's why I'm like sitting staring at the screen most nights till 5 o'clock in the morning, instead of just like throwing it together and rendering and uploading it, because I want it to be as perfect as we can make it. So that's it. That's me getting caught up in my life, or that's me getting you caught up on my life. Yeah, that's it. Single again. That I attempted a relationship. It did not work out, and being single is refreshing because I don't have to worry about anybody else. So again, everything seems to be working out for the best. So there's that. So the whole point of this Litter Box episode, it was supposed to go up on Sunday. This is my Ready Player One review. I had bought the book months ago. We talked about, the movie, the trailer had come out, and I was like, that's it. I need to read the book. I need to read the book before the movie comes out. I bought the book, and then knowing that I wasn't going to have time to read the book, I signed up for Audible. I got the free download, the Will Wheaton reading me Ready Player One. Which it's a good deal. It's free. But I never listened to that either. I've never listened to a book ever. Book on tape, book on Audible, anything. So I don't know if that's something I could actually do. The point of that is that I didn't know much about Ready Player One going into it. I read the first 2 chapters, I think, and that was it. So I knew the premise, and I really enjoy the premise of the book and of the movie. So it was the other night. It was one of those nights where I was like, sitting in front of my computer all day long, sitting in VR all day long, and there are very often times where I don't leave my apartment for days on end because I'm sitting here constantly making video. And And this was one of those days I was like, ooh, I need to get out of the house. And so it was a last minute decision. I was like, I am getting out of the house right now. I don't care where I'm going. I don't care if it's to go to Walmart and walk around and do grocery shopping for an hour, but I need to get out of the apartment as soon as possible, just to get some fresh air on the drive, and stretch my legs, walk around a little bit. And as it turned out, there was a showing of Ready Player One. It was 9 o'clock. Movie showing was at 9:30. I didn't bother checking the details. I was like, let's go. I know what theater it's at. Let's go. Here we go. And so I drove to Blackstone, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. There's 2 movie theaters here. Blackstone is the more upscale one, the more current one, but Showcase North is my favorite because it's got a little art house theater, and it's kind of, because it was cool at one time. It was the most cutting edge one at one time, but now it's the smaller one with fewer showtimes and fewer employees, and the screens aren't very good either. So even though I like that theater better because it's, you know, the underappreciated one, it's the underdog, I went to the big one. I get there and I'm like, one for the 9:30 Ready Player One. And the girl's like, absolutely $18. And I was like, what? Why is it $18? I mean, and I don't care, like $18 for a movie, whatever. But I don't remember the last time I paid $18 for a movie. And she was like, oh, it's the 3D one. Do you want the 2D one? I was like, yes, I do want the 2D one, because I'm sure you guys might know this already. I'm not a big fan of 3D movies. 2 reasons. One, because usually by a half an hour into the movie, I got to take the glasses off and just give my eyes a break, which is really strange because I can play VR for 12 hours at a time, no problems. So what is it with the 3D glasses? I think that I can do it in IMAX because the screen takes up your whole vision, right? It's like you don't really see the edges of the screen. Why am I holding my hands up? But with a standard movie screen, you can see the edges. So it's like you're sort of like looking into the movie, and some stuff's coming out, but as soon as it hits the edge of the screen, it just goes away. So there's something that doesn't really work about 3D for me. It looks nice, but I'm like, not for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. So was that both things? I don't know, but that's the reason I didn't want to see it in 3D. But I hadn't seen a 3D movie in so long that I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait a half an hour for the 10 o'clock 2D showing. Let's just do this. It's already a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, and I don't want to say that I just wanted to get it out of the way, but I just wanted to get it out of the way. Like I was already there. You know, I picked up and been like, let's go, and I was like kind of hyped for it, right? And so it was. I'm here. Let's watch it. Let's do this. And yeah, let's get it out of the way. And I got to say, I'm really glad I saw the 3D version because I guess I didn't realize like just how much CG was going to be in this movie. And I think my only real issue with 3D is when it's like full motion video, when it's live action. And there was so much CG in this that I was like, oh, this is like smooth and fluid. I didn't really have any issues with it. There were 2 times where I took the glasses off and just gave my eyes a break for a few minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm good, back in I go. But it was really well done as far as 3D movies go. So as far as the movie itself, though, it was like high octane, high energy. It was an action movie, and that's not my genre. For movies, I want to get invested into the story. I want to like learn about these characters. I want to be like, I want to care about the characters. And so the setup, the stuff I was familiar with from the book, that was, we knew that this was a pretty dreary outlook at a possible future, where life maybe wasn't so good that people didn't have, you can even see in the trailers that people seem like they're pretty poor, right? And that they're living in these structures which are like basically trailers that are stacked on top of each other. It's a very bleak outlook, very bleak premonition, whatever, of the future. So and I like that. I was like, oh, this is great. This this is really portraying what I was sort of envisioning when I was reading the book. Again, only like the first 2 chapters. So I really enjoyed the setup because it wasn't like, here's this crazy action yet. And I was sort of enjoying the main character. I was like, all right, this person's cool. Obviously we can all relate to a certain extent to his character because he is, he's using VR as a means of escaping this world that he lives in. That's kind of awful for everybody. And I think even though we have it better than the people in the movie, shit in our world still sucks, right? There's a lot of bad stuff going on in this world, like with shootings and politics and just a lot of stuff that if you watch the news, it's just there seems like there's really no hope, and that the world's just going to get worse as time goes on. And so putting on a VR headset and going into Skyrim and like getting to be a hero and just kind of like saving the world or whatever it is that you're doing. I've been playing Skyrim for 40 hours. I'm still not sure what I'm doing. But it's a much different experience. It's like I get to leave this world and go. It's like drugs and alcohol, right? And drugs and alcohol were the quick fix. I don't know how many of you can relate to my past, but my past was rough. Suffered from depression, and I didn't enjoy life. And so drugs and alcohol were the greatest escapism, right? Because you could have fun, be carefree, and not worry about anything. And that's sort of the same thing that happens when you put on a VR headset. It's very much the same feeling. It's like I'm leaving the stuff I don't like, and I'm just gonna like zone out and be somewhere better for a while. It's the same thing. So that was a long-winded way of saying that I identify with the characters in this movie, but only because I'm a VR gamer, because I'm obsessed with VR, right? But not, and I'm wondering how many people that are watching this thing that have never tried VR, that just like video games, that didn't really connect with these characters because they don't actually understand VR. They don't actually understand the feeling you get from escaping the real world. Not that video games can't do that anyway, but you get what I'm saying. It takes it to another level. And so the movie progresses, and there's no spoilers here because, to be honest with you, this story, there's very little story to be spoiled. I didn't read the book, not much of it anyway, so I don't know if the story in the book goes much deeper than what they gave us in the movie. But the movie boils down to it's a cameo fest. Like 100% cameo fest, where you're like, hey, there's a character I recognize. Hey, there's another one I recognize. Hey, there we go. Because the main character, or the other main character in this movie, was obsessed with culture, like 80s and 90s culture. And so it's nonstop. If there was something you liked in the 80s or 90s, you might see it in this movie. And I think that's where the fun of this movie comes in. It sort of makes up for a relatively shallow story. And to be honest, the characters weren't well developed. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the only character I cared about at all, and that's stretching it, was the main character. His friends, the people he met. This is supposed to be like a VR Justice League, and I know the bare minimum about each one of them. Each one of them probably could have had their own movie. There were things about them that were very charming, that were very interesting, that were well done. But their backstories and getting me to care about them was almost non-existent. So it's hard to enjoy Ready Player One from any kind of like meaningful standpoint, right? You can't be like, well, this was a really well scripted movie. That this was I really felt for these characters. I can't say that. I really can't say that at all. What I can say about it was that it was a blast. It was fun to watch. It was high octane, like I said, and just energetic from beginning to end. It was pretty much nonstop cameos, references to video games, cool visual effects. The 3D effect was fantastic, and that's kind of it. For a guy who doesn't really like action movies, I was engaged. Because it touched on so many things that I enjoy, I was able to excuse that it was a pretty shallow story and really enjoy what it was doing instead. I know a lot of people disagree with me because I saw on the PSVR Facebook page that I know some of you guys are part of, people saying this is the best movie ever made. If you don't like this, you don't like video games. Well, I'll tell you that I can totally see why people wouldn't like this movie, because people sometimes are looking for a story that's well told. This wasn't particularly well told, but it was a lot of fun, and that's what they nailed in this. They nailed special effects, they nailed fun, and they nailed 80s and 90s culture. And you know what? I don't think movies need to be much more than that sometimes. Just because this movie didn't have it all, it had enough. Where I was like, you know what? When this thing comes to Blu-ray or when this thing comes to Netflix, I'm totally watching it again. I'll buy the Blu-ray. I don't care. In fact, I was a little bit jealous when I saw that the HTC Vive has a little Ready Player One experience. I'm like, hey, that's something I kind of want because I enjoyed the movie enough. I enjoyed that world enough to want to see a little more of it, and especially in VR. So that's my review. World's greatest movie? Nope. World's greatest movie referencing 80s and 90s culture? Probably. And maybe the world's greatest video game movie ever made. So that's enough, man. That makes up for all the downsides, all the stuff that isn't perfect about Ready Player One. It can kind of be swept under the rug because the good stuff really does make up for it. And that's kind of it. I'm curious to read the book now. I was sort of just going to watch the movie and that was going to be enough. That's what I did with the Harry Potter movies. And I was like, you know what? Even though everybody says the books are better, I'm okay. I feel like I've gotten my fill with Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter, right? Third one, Prisoner of Azkaban. That's the fucking shit. That's the best movie, hands down. But with Ready Player One, I feel like enough people have said that the book's always better, right? The book's always better. It doesn't matter what book and what movie you're talking about. The book is always better. So, but this specifically, I'm so curious to know whether Ernest Cline developed these characters more, like this VR Justice League that I keep calling them. What are they called? The High Five? Although High Five is such an 80s term that's like I'll give it a pass. I want to know more about those characters. I want to see how well he developed those characters. And maybe it'll give me a little more appreciation for the movie. So this is one of the few times where I saw the movie first, and I was like, you know what? I need to read that book. I need to. All right. So that's pretty much it, guys. Listen, this is kind of your final warning. I think we probably say it on Viewer Takeover, but this is one of your final warnings that we are going to be at PAX. All four of us, me, Michelle, Des, and Jeremy, we're going in together. We're going to be at PAX for most of the day on April 8th. That's a Sunday. So if you're in the area, come by, say hi, get a few PSVR Without Parole Game Cat wristbands. Jesus Christ, there's hundreds of these things in my apartment right now. And come say hi. We'd be thrilled to meet you. I know it's not the easiest time for anybody, especially a lot of you guys are not local at all. But if you happen to be local, if you happen to be in the area, come by and say hi. And we just found out today that we're in no rush to get back. We were only going to be there from 10 to 2, but now we're going to be there for most of the day until we all get sick of each other or we get sick of being at PAX. Who knows? That's it, guys. Thank you for being so patient for this episode to go up. Hopefully it was worthwhile. Sorry for the whole long rant at the beginning of it. I know that sounded like a pity party, but you know that's not the case. I fucking love working on Without Parole. I love being part of this awesome community. I love all of the Game Cats. Let's be fair. I love you all. All right, you guys, have a great day, a great night, great everything, and maybe we'll see you at PAX. See you guys.